Ann here from Backroad Buddies, and the video we want to share with you today is about a tour of the Sky Princess. Now, the Sky Princess is a ship operated by Princess Cruises, and it's the boat we were on for 15 days as we did our transatlantic cruise from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, over to Southampton, England. Most days when we were on the ship, I would try to get an hour walk in every day. And most of the time I did that on the jogging track that they have on board. But for 2 days, I actually walked the whole ship, every deck, front to back, and around, and so on each side. And I filmed a lot of that. So this video is mostly that, kind of walking you through the whole ship. Now, rest assured, this is not 2 hours long, so I did edit it down and I sped up some parts. But I wanted to leave enough of it in to give you an idea of how large the ship is and kind of the layout and how one area of the ship flowed to another. Now, there are 19 decks, and there are 3 large sets of stairwells and elevators that get you from deck to deck. So there's one midship, which I think is about in here, and there's one towards the front about in here, and another one in the back, I think somewhere around in here. And so I started at the top deck. Now, the top couple decks, deck 19 and 18, don't go the full length of the ship. As you can see, it's kind of cut out here. So 19 just had a section in the back. 18 had a section in the back and a section in the front that I could get to. And then 17 and 16 were the full length. And these decks were mainly kind of sports, outdoor, lounge areas, the 4 swimming pools, fitness center, jogging track, things like that. But also on deck 16, this whole back section here is a huge buffet. So that was really kind of impressive. And then when you go down to decks 15, 14, 12, 11, 10, 9, and 8, those are all cabin decks. So I won't bore you with going up and down the hallways of all the cabin decks. So I just give you a little sampling of that because they pretty much all look alike. And then when you get down to the bottom 3, which is 7, which is kind of this one with the lifeboats, and then 6 and 5, then these are kind of more public areas with shops. The dining rooms are all in the back. The Princess Theater actually extends over 2 decks because it's that tall, where they held the evening productions and entertainment, and just restaurants and bars and lounge areas and entertainment venues and shops and that kind of thing down in here. And then the only other deck that passengers can get to, which you can't even see on here, is deck 4, and that's where the medical center is, and that's the only thing you can access down there. So in addition to walking through all of the decks, I actually give a quick little tour of our room. We had a balcony room on deck 9, so you'll see that. And then I end the video with demonstrating there's these large electronic displays in each of the stairwells that allow you to access different things on the deck. You can actually log into them with your medallion. Then I also kind of show a sample of the things that are available on the television inside our cabin. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Sky Princess Tour.
to feel in heaven when my lover's near. Lord, let this moment last for another year. Though today has ended, the night's still young, I'd say. Lover, don't go away. Let it be the thing that I am longing for. Let's fly out from Manhattan to the California shore, just to watch the ships at night on the San Francisco Bay. Oh, lover, please, please stay. Don't say you have to go. Don't say you need to run. Stop the clock on Central Station and we can have a drink downtown. Let it be the night that I am longing for. Let's fly down south to Austin or to Ecuador, just to drink pina colada on a hot, wet summer's day. Oh, lover, please, please stay. Yeah! Don't say you have to go. Don't say you need to run. I'll stop the clock on Central Station and we can have a drink downtown. Let it be the night that I've been longing for. Let's fly down south to Austin or to Ecuador, just to drink pina colada on a hot, wet summer's day. Oh, lover, oh, lover, oh, lover, please, please stay. Please stay. Please stay.
Thanks for watching. If you want more details, look in the description below for a link to our related blog posts, so check that out. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Ta-ta for now.